Welcome back to After Hours on Real America's Voice.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to After Hours with Alex Stein on Real Iran's Voice. I mean, Real America's Voice. Sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I've been huffing pain a little bit before the show, so that's on me. But Lila, listen, you know, everybody that's going to accuse me of being a Saudi Arabian shill, they're accusing me of being a Shia Muslim. That's impossible. My grandfather was Jewish, so obviously I support Israel. But there is a clip that is going viral of Jonathan Greenblatt, who is the head of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which is supposed to be a league that I guess goes after all defamation. You know, it's supposed to help black people, Chinese people, Filipino people like yourself. But really and truly, their main focus is going after people that speak ill of Israel. I don't know what else to say. So this is a clip. It's from about a year ago, and he said something very disturbing. Now, are you familiar with Israel's great plan to put bombs in pagers?
No.
Are you kidding, Lila? They ran one of the most sophisticated military operations ever. They gave Hezbollah a bunch of pagers, and it took them 10 years, allegedly. They created fake shell companies, and they somehow even convinced Hezbollah to continue to use pagers so that they wouldn't be tracked, when in reality they were tracking them the whole time. They were putting bombs in pagers. And then they presented Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, with a golden pager, which I don't know how else you could not take that as a threat, but that's I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to talk about is that this is the head of the ADL saying that Israel needs to get creative and do another pager attack for people that don't speak highly of Israel. And I just want to say I love Israel. It is the greatest country on earth. It is better than America, way better. So let's play the clip.
In the U.S. and around the world, we've got to start doing things differently. And the same goes here in Israel. This means that the problem won't be solved by yet another new Knesset task force. It won't be solved by the government just throwing money at the problem. It won't be solved by the IDF spokesperson's unit issuing updated talking points or suddenly using TikTok. Like us in America, you need to adopt new strategies, to experiment with creative tactics, to study the results and scale what works. Maybe it's a whole new IDF unit, call it 8300, to lead this fight. But we need the kind of genius that manufactured Apollo Gold pagers and infiltrated Hezbollah for over a decade to prepare for this battle. We need the kind of courage that executed Operation Deep Layer inside Syria and destroyed Iranian missile manufacturing capabilities to undertake this mission. This is the kind of ingenuity and inventiveness that have always been a hallmark of the State of Israel, that have always been a characteristic of the Jewish people. I know we can do it.
I mean, that seems a little shocking that he wants to encourage people, especially the leadership of Israel, to create a subversive bombing campaign to, I guess, 86 people that are sharing anti-Semitic memes online. And I'm not pro-Semitic. I don't even know how to say that. I'm anti-anti-Semitism. I don't like anti-Semitism. I'm against it. But I do believe in the First Amendment. We should have freedom of speech. We should be able to say whatever we want online. Doesn't matter how offensive you call it. Hate speech is a fake, made-up idea. And here in America, we should be able to legally say whatever we want and not have to worry about being the victim of a pager that is going to blow up in our pocket and not only maim our genitalia. That's what it maimed. It maimed a bunch of people's genitals and blew their balls off, literally, and they were laughing about it. And it maimed some of the young kids that were hanging out. Well, yes, there were some kids that were in the room with their dad, and some kids got blown up, too.
And Alex, you're absolutely right. That's what makes America so beautiful and great, is that we are supposed to have freedom of speech, to have conversations. So the fact that you could get blown up for saying the wrong thing is ludicrous. That's insane.
I know. And this guy's running one of the biggest organizations, especially when it comes to combating free speech, is the ADL. Now I got to play this other clip, and just know that I love the country of Israel. I'm not anti-Israel whatsoever, but I thought this was a very unique thing. Now, this is a clip of Bret Stephens talking about how the higher a person goes in the education system, the more likely they are to be anti-Semitic, which I thought is weird, because you would think that the, super educated people would be pro-Israel, but I guess it's the opposite. Let's play the clip.
A large part of anti-Semitism efforts come down to the conviction that if we could simply properly educate more people, not the hardcore anti-Semites, as you mentioned, but people in the middle, that we would diminish the quantum of anti-Semitism in society. As a matter of fact, there's a fair bit of evidence that anti-Semitism doesn't decline as educational achievement rises. In fact, it increases.
Why do you think that is? Why would a person that has a higher education be more likely to be anti-Semitic? Like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, that is kind of strange to me. I don't understand that.
That's weird that the person that would be considered smarter from an academic viewpoint would be more likely to be anti-Semitic. I wonder why that is. Well, doesn't matter. Let me tell you why anti-Semitism does exist. Because of people like this guy, Mark Levin. Now, are you familiar with Mark Levin at all? You probably don't even know who that is, Lila, do you?
No, but you can tell me about him.
He's a Fox News host, and he is Donald Trump's favorite human being in the world. And he's a guy that was a never Trumper. There's articles where he said that he did not support Donald Trump in 2016, and now he's Donald Trump's best friend, so much so that he is in a fight, in an online spat with Megyn Kelly, where she is calling him micro penis Mark, because Mark Levin, this is true, she's calling him micro penis Mark, because Mark Levin is accusing Megyn Kelly, who's not anti-Semitic. I'm not anti-Semitic. You're not anti-Semitic. We're just calling out some, weird inconsistencies that we see within our government and some, glaring issues that we're just trying to address. It doesn't make us anti-Semitic, and Megyn Kelly's not anti-Semitic, but he has gone on a campaign. He has tweeted about her over 200 times in a negative way, and she finally decided to fire back. And even though there are old clips of Megyn saying she really liked and respected Mark, but ever since she became basically Team Tucker, they've had a coordinated attack and assassination of her character, which I totally disagree with. But because it's made such big news on social media, Donald Trump wrote a love letter to Mark Levin. Now, let me read some of this. It's insane. Mark Levin, a truly great American patriot, is somewhat under siege by other people with far less intellect, capability, and love for our country. Mark is tough, strong, and brilliant, hence the nickname The Great One, conceived by our MAGA friend, the wonderful Sean Hannity, after years of dealing with Mark in legal, media, and other capacities. Mark would often do Sean's show, speaking as a lawyer, and Sean realized then, as did others, that he was special. Mark Levin was not looking to do television, radio, or anything else, but he was drafted by very smart people who understood that there are few like him. He is a true conservative and intellect, far smarter than those who criticize him. But above all, he is a man of great wisdom and common sense who truly loves our country. When you hear others unfairly attack Mark, remember that they are jealous and angry human beings whose sway is much less than the public understands, and will now they know where I stand, rapidly diminished. Other than for his wonderful wife and family, Mark Levin only cares and wants one thing: greatness and success for America. And it goes on and on. I can't even read it all. What do you think about Donald Trump writing a love letter to a guy that didn't even support him in his first campaign?
Well, it's very interesting, but that was very nice. I would want my friend to defend me in that way. That was very nice.
I know.
That was very sweet.
It was a little too nice. I mean, Donald Trump's... They sounded kind of gay a little bit, and I'm not calling Donald Trump gay. Obviously, he's not. Melania is beautiful. He's a man's man. But Mark Levin, the reason why I kind of connect to this with the people that are anti-Semitic, people like Mark Levin, who's reached the top levels of media, was a successful attorney, he still goes on the air every day and pretends to be a victim, which is really basically the same thing that AOC does and that the left does. And also, he uses these terms. He calls people woke right. He calls people fascists. He calls people Nazis. That's literally what has been happening to us for the past 10 years from the left. And so now he's taking their talking points and using it against conservatives. So my argument is this, Mark. If you want to be more likable and you want to get an audience as big as Tucker or as big as Megyn Kelly's without having to get your knee pads out for Donald Trump's, you know what I mean? You need to be real and genuine and not constantly playing the victim, because you are a multimillionaire who has reached the pinnacle of broadcasting. So it's ridiculous that you go on your show every night and you yell at Tucker Carlson and you yell at Megyn Kelly, when if you really cared about our country, you'd be yelling at the people that are basically ruining our country. And those are the people on the left. Those are the people that are trying to transition children. Those are the people that want everything for free and are able to do Somali daycare scams. The people that are actually being subversive, the illegal immigrants that are coming here and stealing jobs from American citizens. You don't ever attack those people, but instead you've channeled all your energy by going after people that campaigned for Donald Trump because of one issue that you do not like. Because I would argue that Mark Levin probably agrees with Tucker on 95% of his political opinions. So it's people like Mark Levin that constantly want to play the victim that actually inadvertently creates more anti-Semitism because he's so unlikable.
You are fake news.
Well, there's nothing fake about what I just said, sadly. I wish it was, but what do I say on the show all the time? Reality is stranger than fiction. All right, guys, coming up next, we're going to play my most recent appearance at the New York City Council meeting, talking about, what do you think? Sharia law! So you don't want to miss it. Coming up next.